But actually, it's the only time in eternity I can really know who I am, know myself truly, accurately. And when I think of self-realization, I think of three things. First, just to really know and experience myself as a soul. But secondly, to know and accept my part in drama. You know, when I know and accept my part in drama, I won't have any jealousy, I won't have any competition. You know, all those things are eliminated when I really have that. But thirdly, to know my strengths and weaknesses. This is a part of our study, to know my beauty, but also to clearly understand what are my shortcomings. Because what happens with Baba's children is we have so much love for Baba, so much faith, but we travel along, then something makes us really experience a lot of sorrow. And I believe that often we look to others. Others become the instruments that give us sorrow, but actually it's mainly me. Because I don't really know myself, even after so many years as a Brahmin, I can't clearly understand my own weaknesses that every so often bubble up and disturb me. And I can see them in other people much more than I can see them in myself. And, you know, sometimes I have the thought that we begin the cycle in the full bloom of self-respect. The soul is just an absolute flower of purity and self-respect. But as we come down the cycle, we collect weaknesses, defects, and shortcomings, all these sorts of things. And as they became habits, my weaknesses became habits. I felt bad about them. I didn't like them. I couldn't accept them. And because of this discomfort, because of my weaknesses, I went into this denial about them. I developed this inner blindness where I sort of can't really see who I am. I think I can, but if I knew who I am, I wouldn't have this sorrow that keeps repeating again and again. And, you know, Baba is like the eye surgeon. And in one sense, Baba comes to restore our vision so that I can see myself as I truly am. And that means really realizing that I do have blindness. I've collected blindness in the copper and iron age. I have blind spots. And I think the great courage of Brahman life, the great courage is to say, this is why I've come here, and to peel away all the self-deception, all the defensiveness, and all the masks I've worn for a long time. Because one of the most powerful things of bhakti is self-deception. You know, I'm just blind to who I am. And so when people sometimes say things, I'm so hurt, and I put it back on you. That's just so terrible of you to say that, because I just can't see myself. As someone once said to me, can you see the back of your head? Can you see this part? Can anyone see the back of your head? Do you have eyes that can go? But everyone else can see it. Everyone else can see that part, but you can't see it. And it's a bit like our weaknesses sometimes, that we just can't see them. And, you know, I think one of the things which I really love about this gyan, the sign of being a knowledgeful soul. What's the sign that don't just believe the gyan, just repeat it, but I'm actually living it? I become like the teacher and I begin to see life like Baba does. It's almost like when I absorb Baba's truth, it's a lens that I start to perceive everything happening around me. How does Baba see everything? As an observer. Baba is completely and utterly the observer of the drama. And I feel that as we really absorb Baba's truth, I become a detached observer for the scenes of drama. You know, that is so important at this time, to be an objective observer of life. For others to be a benevolent observer. You know, my feeling these days, for every relationship in your life, every relationship, whether it's your Lokik family, whether it's your colleagues at work or the Brahman family, I have to be benevolent to everyone. Otherwise, I can't change. Even if I'm benevolent to 97.2%, and I've got that 2.8% of, I remain stuck. I remain stuck in that place. But for myself, for the scenes of drama, a detached observer. For others, a benevolent observer. For me, an honest observer. How, after all these years, am I truly honest with myself? Can I really see the whole picture? Or do I have a romantic vision of myself? I sort of see myself as something, you know, I am this something. Can't quite catch the word at the moment. But, or do I have a very emotional picture of myself? Do I have a very negative picture of myself? Or do I really have this objective view of myself? Can I see the whole picture? Can I see my strengths, my beauty, essential? Can I see my weaknesses? Can I see my capacity? Can I know what I do well? Can I know what I don't do well? I know for me, one huge freedom in my Brahman life when I realize there's some things I can do okay, but there's some things I'm not good at. And it's just as important to realize the things I have specialties in as the things I can't do, and feel happy when others can do them. I don't have to be everything to everyone. Sometimes we feel I have to be good at absolutely everything. So in the confluence age, can I really see who I am? Or am I still blind to myself? Because if I am, every so often, I will feel quite sorrowful, quite sad, because there's little thorns inside that I just can't put my finger on. And sometimes I think there's a partial blindness. There's layers of blindness, spiritual blindness. And this partial blindness is sometimes you see your weakness, but it's uncomfortable, so I become blind once again. You know, when I first started, I can remember so clearly, I was in London and I started with a friend of mine, and Daddy Jenki was there, as you know, in those days. And for a while, she was praising him a lot, and I got a little bit jealous. And you know what I noticed? Sometimes I could see clearly, yes, this is my weakness, I'm jealous. And other times I would change and I'd become blind to my own jealousy and then have all the emotion. So sometimes aware, sometimes blind. You know, with partial blindness. Well, then there's blindness when I'm not happy. I feel confused. I feel a bit afraid, but I cannot put my finger on the problem. I think about it, but I can't really decide what is that's making me that unhappy. Why? Because I really am too afraid to see my weakness. I'm still do not have the courage to clearly see the weakness that, you know, and often I feel, why have I come to Baba? Why have I come to Baba? I haven't come to be defensive about my weakness. I've come to change it. I've actually come into this life to transform myself and really look at what is there. So sometimes there's partial blindness, sometimes there's blindness, and at other times there's complete blindness. What do you think that is? That's when I don't feel happy. I'm confused. I feel afraid, but I can't see any problem in myself. I am convinced it's the center, it's the Brahman family, it's somebody in my life. In other words, I'm under total self-deception. And this is the role of ego. It makes me completely blind. What does ego, what's the mantra of ego? I'm fine and you're the problem. You should get your act together. Come on, you should improve. And then I'll be happy, like so unaware of myself, so unaware of really who I am. And I think that, Baba has really come to help us remove this blindness. And in a sense, religion helped us create this inner blindness because we couldn't change. In bhakti, we wanted to, but we didn't know what sanskaras were. We couldn't change. So what did we do? We suppressed everything. We push everything down to the point that often when we come to Baba, we have two personalities. One is the one I present to the world. I learn that the world, what's acceptable for the world to see, but other times what's inside of me, I sometimes don't tell anybody. And so there's sometimes two personalities, sitting inside of me. And in fact, that's one of the reasons psychology was born, is to be more honest about the dark side of the soul. But psychology then just indulges in this overindulgence of why, whereas spirituality is about being honest with myself, seeing myself clearly, and putting all my effort into self-transformation. So religion suppresses, psychology sort of indulges in all why. But actually Baba's teaching us, children, be honest and then put effort into bringing transformation. Because it seems that, there's four things in a way. One is, the part of me I'm happy for everyone to see. There's my personality I meet the world with. I'm happy for everyone to see that. But there's a part of me I don't let anybody see. I have my own secrets. I hold my own secrets inside. And even I may not tell anyone unless I absolutely trust them completely. So a part of me I show to the world, a part of me I keep quite secret. And even as a Brahmin, maybe there's some things I think or do that I won't really reveal to anybody. And there's a part of me that's really unknown, which is my subconscious, my old sanskaras sitting in my subconscious. I can't often see that and others can't see that. And fourthly, there's my blind spots. And my blind spots are really the things that I can't see, but often others can see my blind spots. And this is why we have this wonderful, beautiful, lovely, sweet Brahmin family, because they will often let me know about my blind spots, whether I want to know or not. But this is good, actually. And if sometimes I get feedback and I feel defensive, I feel hurt, upset, it's like I've really come here for self-transformation, but I become so defensive. And it's because I've become so sensitive about some of my own things I've collected through the cycle, some of my weaknesses. And I think, how do I begin to really peel away the self-deception of my own weaknesses I can't see clearly, my blind spots? I would say, wherever I feel really sensitive, hiding underneath that is a blind spot usually, where I feel really sensitive, really delicate, very defensive. A Jnani soul will say, okay, it's like a mushroom in a sense. I've got to look underneath it. Why? Not at them. They may be an instrument to trigger your sensitivity, to trigger that feeling. But why is it that time and time again, Whenever I come into a particular situation, someone says something or something happens, I feel very delicate. I feel very fragile. And normally, even after many years, I put it back on the other person. But actually, they're helping me. They're becoming an instrument to show me that there's something I need to learn about myself, something I need to look at. Because I've really found myself, to be frank, that I think I'm something and people give me feedback of something else. Because often my self-perception is different from reality. This is body consciousness. How I see who I am and how others is something different. And, you know, we had one sister in Australia who wrote to all her old Brahmin friends and said, please tell me the things of my virtues and strengths, and please tell me the things, my weaknesses and shortcomings. And everyone did. She was courageous, wasn't she? And she found it so useful because, you know, why are we here? Why have we come to Baba? I think we want to become pure. Is that right? That true? Not getting that much response there. We want to become pure. And the reason to do that, I've got to look at everything. I've got to be that open, that honest. I haven't come to Baba just to protect my sensitivities and my old story. I've actually come to clear it away. So wherever I feel a bit defensive, a little bit sensitive, a little bit delicate, look deep. What is underneath that? And, you know, sometimes the incredible thing is that, you know, I feel I'm give respect to people, but sometimes other people don't feel that. You know, I feel that I give cooperation, but other people don't feel that. I feel I'm a good team player, but others find me dominating and controlling. And really, if I have the courage and the humility and the soul consciousness, I should listen to what I'm getting, because it will help me in the long run understand really who I am. And this is why I think we're here, especially at this time, because we want to clear our account. And I think really time is short. How much time do I have to really reach that stage? You know, I often, so many times I met Daddy Janki, so many times. And she would ask me, what's the weakness you're working on? You know, because really I think a true Brahmin identifies them and then doesn't feel hopeless. Not one of us came pure, even Brahma Baba. Why should I feel hopeless? Identify it and then use Gyan and yoga to bring change in it. This is the biggest joy of Brahman life, to be frank. When you feel the biggest thorn in you, you've looked at it, you've identified it, you've been honest, you've found Gyan, and you're starting to shift it. You're starting to shift that thorn. This is really, I think, is more joy in Brahman life when I really genuinely feel I'm changing. And to be open to the feedback, because, you know, sometimes I see myself as a serviceable soul, which is great. Baba encourages it. But sometimes I'm incredibly controlling. Things have to be my way. This is my area. This is my service. This is really incredibly gross body consciousness. And, you know, my feeling these days, or wherever I go, you know, this is Baba's family. Everyone, they're not, it's Baba's center, it's Baba's yagya, they're Baba's, it's nothing to do with me. I'm an instrument, I'm here. It's, you know, if we start to get our little territorial area, this is my little way, and no one can really tell me what to do. This is really not what Baba wants. We should be so open, and we should let go of responsibility like that. It needs self-respect, actually. It needs a lot of self-respect. But because when I really can see myself, and there's two main blind spots. Two main blind spots. And the biggest blind spot? The biggest blind spot for Brahmins is to really see my beauty. I would say we're better at seeing our weaknesses than the incredible beauty. And I often share my first meeting with Baba. I'm sure I've shared it here before, because it was an incredible experience that I was 2 months in Gyan. I sat in front of Baba in the history hall, and Baba would meet with long drishti, and Baba's eyes are like a laser beam, they went zzz, zzz, scanning the soul, And Baba fell on a part of me that had gone to sleep, the original me, the pure me, the deity me, the elevated me. It's like Baba massaged that to the surface and introduced me to who I really was. Inside each one of us now, as we sit in this hall, is a gold mine of virtue and beauty. Unlimited. We are the deity souls. We've lived 2,500 years without one defect. It's there, sitting in my memory tract. When I acknowledge that and experience that, you have the power to look at your weakness. You can, because you're coming from a place of self-respect. And when you feel that, you can objectively and honestly say, yes, Baba, this is my shortcoming and I need to change it. But if I don't really have that place of security, my value, then I feel sensitive about my weakness and I just continue to remain blind. I just remain blind. And then every so often I just feel really unhappy. I just don't feel happy. I want to move. I want to change. Because actually, I'm not seeing the thing that's really disturbing me. And even after many years, we feel it's the place I'm in or the people I'm with. It's never that. It's me. And often because I haven't identified what is really the issue that's upsetting me, that I keep wanting a physical change. But actually, really, God is the highest teacher, and he gives us the tools to become a detached observer of myself and see what I need. And that I have so much goodness in me, so much beauty. See that. And then as that honest observer, see what is it that really makes me unhappy? And often it will keep coming back. It emerges, it disturbs you for a little while, and then it goes back quiet. You think, oh, this is great, I feel better. And then it comes back again. And then it merges back down, and then it comes back again. And sometimes it's happened even since childhood in this life. And yet still, I haven't really gone to the essence. What is the problem? And what is the solution that Baba gives me so that I can really begin to transform myself? What I feel is glorification will come soon. What is the part of we Brahmins? I think it's going to be, as Baba calls them, the mics who will give the message. I don't think it's us. Our part is to transform our sanskars. God needs a certain number of pure souls to shift the atmosphere in this world. Our real service is not running around giving lectures. That's good. Our real service is to transform myself. Because when Baba has enough pure souls. That's the foundation of the golden age in the new world. So today, the essence of the Murli, sweet children, whether people are elderly, young, or children, it is now the stage of retirement for all souls. Who's retired? Everyone. We're all retired. So should we put outside a notice, the Brahma Kumari's retirement home? Should we put that on the front? So, because everyone has to go beyond sound to the land of liberation. Show them the way home. Question: why is the Father's Srimat different for every child? Why is it not the same? Interesting question, eh? Why does Baba give different directions to different people? Different circumstances. Because the Father gives Srimat to each child on seeing each one's pulse and circumstances. For instance, when someone is free from bondage and worthy of doing service, whether it is someone elderly or a Kumari, Baba would advise her to engage herself fully in doing this service. But he would not tell everyone to come and stay here. Just as Mama and Baba claim that their inheritance from Shiv Baba, so follow them and do service in the same way and claim your inheritance. Baba has a lot to say about this today, about, if you're free, in fact, the last few days, engage yourself in service. Really, sometimes I sit down, I love to think, what is this time? God has come. What's he telling me to do? He's telling me to remember him and serve. Am I doing it? Am I doing it? Can I do more? Really, this is the only time in eternity I can create my fortune. Am I doing it? Or sometimes we go half asleep. Just sort of, I find the easiest thing in Brahman life is to live in my comfort zones. I get comfortable and I tell myself I'm fine, but actually, really, Baba wants us to serve. And that, we all have different circumstances through the mind, through speech, through action. If we can do a little bit, it's really good. The song, no one is unique like the innocent Lord. Om Shanti. You sweetest, long lost, and now found children heard the song. Shiva is called the innocent Lord, Polanath. The one who beats the drums is called Shankar. There are so many ashrams here where they relate the Vedas, scriptures, Upanishads, etc. That too is like beating the drums. There are also so many ashrams where people go and stay, but they don't have any aim or objective. They believe that the gurus will take them beyond sound to the land of silence. They go with the thought of shedding their bodies there. However, no one is able to go home, back home. Those people simply teach their own devotion. Here, you children know that this is the true stage of retirement. The children, elderly, and young people are all in the stage of retirement. However, you are being inspired to make effort to go to the land of liberation. There isn't anyone else who would show you the path to salvation or to go beyond sound. Only the one is the bestower of liberation and salvation. The Father cannot tell you all to renounce your homes and families and come and stay here. Who would like to go and stay in Madhaban? I think quite a few of us would like to. Yes, those who are worthy of doing service are asked to stay here. You also have to show others the path to go into the stage of retirement, because it is now time for everyone to go beyond sound. Only the one Father takes everyone into the stage of retirement, to the land of liberation. You are sitting with that Father. Although those people go into retirement, none of them is able to return home. Only the one Father takes everyone into retirement, and only He gives you good directions. Some tell Baba that they will bring their family and stay here. How will Baba respond? Baba, I'm going to pack up home and come and stay with you. How will Baba respond? Very sweet, Baba. No, it first has to be seen whether they are worthy of doing service or not. So Baba's open. And I know there was one family from Jagdish Bhai Centre in Shaktinagar. The whole family, mum, dad, and daughter, moved into Madhaban, but they were all very active, all three of them, very active. If someone is old, free from bondage, and serviceable, he is given Srimat. Some children say, hold seminars so that we can learn ways of doing service. Together with Kumaris, mothers, and men, will also continue to learn. This is a seminar. Baba teaches you every day how to explain to others. One of the themes of the last period, study and teach. This is really what Baba wants each one of us, study and teach. He continues to advise you, first of all, explain one thing. You remember the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. What relationship do you have with him? If he is the Father, you should receive an inheritance from him. You don't know the Father. You say that God is in everyone. If God were in every particle, what would be your state? You children know that you are now sitting in front of Baba. How many points does Baba give? He's been saying last few days also about God not being omnipresent. You know, there was a brother once who collected all the points that Baba says on different subjects. He had over 100 from Baba on why God's not omnipresent, over 100 points. So many things Baba says, logical things. Baba is making us worthy by changing us from thorns into flowers, and he will then take us back with him. All others show you the way. What do they show? Which way do they show? To the forests. The sannyasis send you out into the jungle. The Father shows you such an easy path. Liberation in life in a second has been remembered. That is not a lie. As soon as you say Baba, you become liberated in life. First of all, Baba takes you to his home. All of you have forgotten your home. They say that God is the Father, and he sends all the messengers to establish a religion. So why do they then say that he is omnipresent? He sends everyone from up above. They say one thing, but they don't believe it. The Father sends them down to establish a religion. And so the people of their organization also continue to follow them down. So the prophet souls come and the souls of their religion follow them. First of all, there is the group of deities. First of all, Lakshmi and Narayan, who belong to the original eternal deity religion, will go down with their people. No one else goes down with their people. There, one will come first, then another, and then a third person. Here, all of you are becoming ready to claim your inheritance from the Father. This is, where are you sitting? How many different versions does Baba? Where are you sitting today? This is a school. We're all at school. While living at home, you remember Baba for one moment, half a moment, or half of half a moment. So how long is half of half a moment? Can you even measure half of half a moment? You are told in just a second what your relationship with the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul is. They even say that he is the Supreme Father, that he is the Father of all, that he is the Creator. However, in spite of that, if they don't consider him to be the Father, then what can you say? The Father is the creator of heaven, and so he would definitely give you the sovereignty of heaven. He did give it to Bharat. The Raja Yoga that changes an ordinary man into Narayan is very well known. This is also the story of true Narayan. It is the story of immortality and also the story of receiving the third eye. You children know that Baba is giving you the inheritance. The Father gives you Srimat. There will definitely only be benefit by following his directions. Isn't that lovely? There's a guarantee that if I follow what Baba tells me, there's only benefit. Baba feels the pulse of each one. This one doesn't have any bondage and is able to do service. The Father gives directions when he sees you are worthy. When your circumstances are seen, you are told, you can come here and continue to do service wherever there is a need. There is a lot of need at many of the exhibitions. Older people are needed, and Kumaris too are needed. Everyone continues to receive teachings. This is a study. God speaks. The incorporeal one is called God. You souls are his children. People say, oh, God the Father. So he cannot be omnipresent. Every day, Baba's been bringing up points about omnipresent. You know, there was a very famous guru in India called Swami Satchitanand. I don't know whether any of you know, there was a famous festival in America, I think in the late 60s, called Woodstock. Have you ever heard of Woodstock? It's huge. Anyway, he went and spoke, hundreds of thousands there. And once he came to our center in Sydney, a very sweet soul, and he had been to Madhaban, and he knew the Brahma Kumaris don't believe in omnipresence. So he gave a talk proving God was omnipresent. And actually, Sister Morny was there, and she started to sweetly, it was a very sweetly debate with him. But it was quite, and he had a lot of good points, actually. You know, you can think up so many things, but Baba gives so many points. The Baba says, is your physical father omnipresent? No. You say that he is the Father, and then you sing, "Oh, purify Father." So he would definitely come here and purify you. You children know that you are becoming pure from impure. The Father says, my children who have met me after 5,000 years have come to claim their inheritance once again. You know that the kingdom is being established. Just as Mama and Baba claim their inheritance from Shiv Baba, so you too claim it from him. Follow them. Do service in the same way as Mama and Baba. Mama and Baba tell you the story of changing from an ordinary man into Narayan. So why should you listen to anything else? You know that they will become part of the Sun dynasty and then the Moon dynasty. First, you will have to go into the Sun dynasty. You have this understanding. No one can sit in this school without this understanding. Baba gives you Srimad. We know that Baba has entered this one. Otherwise, where would Prajapita come from? The father of the people. That Brahma is the resident of the subtle region. The father of the people is needed here. The Father says, I carry out establishment through Brahma. Of what? What does he establish? Heaven? What's his first thing he establishes? Subtle region of Brahmins. I enter this Brahma, you souls also enter bodies. I am called the ocean of knowledge. So how am I, the incorporeal one, able to speak knowledge? Krishna cannot be called the ocean of knowledge. The Krishna soul receives knowledge at the end of his many births and becomes Krishna. He is not that now. You know that you studied Raja Yoga with God and became deities, the masters of heaven. The Father says, I teach you Raja Yoga every cycle. You receive a kingdom by studying this. You will become kings of kings. This is your aim and objective. You have come here to become Sun dynasty deities once again. The one deity religion is being established. There are now so many religions. How many do you think? How many religions are there? Many? Innumerable? There's a scholar in Oxford University who maintains there's about 4,500 practiced religions in the world. There are so many gurus. All of them will end. The guru of all those gurus, the bestower of salvation, is the one Father. I have come to grant salvation to all the sages, etc. too. As you progress further, they too will bow down in front of you as they did in the previous cycle. You children have all the secrets of the drama in your intellects. You know that Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankar are in the subtle region. This one is the father of the people. He, Shiva, says, I enter the old body of Brahma. He also says to you, O children, all of you are Brahmins, and I place the urn on you. You have taken many births. At this time, it is the extreme depths of hell. There are no rivers, etc. There are no rivers, etc. that could be called hell. They have written many such stories in the Gurud Puran. Baba now sits here and explains to you children. This one has also studied, Brahma Baba. The Father, the innocent Lord, sits here and explains to you, innocent children. He makes poor, innocent children the wealthiest. You know that you will become the Sun Dynasty masters. Look at what you have become while gradually falling down. It is such a wonderful play. You were so prosperous in heaven. Even now, kings have such big palaces. There are palaces in Jaipur too. Who's seen the palaces in Jaipur? Yes, they're quite beautiful. Some of them are. But I tell you, the palace I've seen, there's two that are incredible. One is in Russia, outside of St. Petersburg. It's to be seen, to be believed. It's incredible. All the huge halls, all gold and mirrors. And even the Elysee Palace outside Paris. I'm sure some of you have seen that one. Have you seen that one? That's also unbelievable. Even at the end of the Iron Age, they create such things. There are palaces in Jaipur too. If there are such palaces even now, you can imagine what the earlier ones would have been like. Government house is not built like that. The splendor of the palaces of the kings is absolutely something else. Okay? If you want to see a model of heaven, go to Ajmer. They have worked very hard to create just one model. You experience so much happiness just by looking at it. Here, Baba quickly gives you a vision. Whatever you see in visions, you are going to see in a practical form. Although devotees had visions on the path of devotion, they did not become the masters of paradise. You are becoming the masters of paradise in a practical way. It is now hell. They continue. What do they do in hell? They continue to bite and fight one another. This is the world we're living in. Some sons don't hesitate to kill their father or brother. There is no question of fighting, etc. in the Golden Age. You claim a status for 21 births from the income you earn at this time. Therefore, you should have so much happiness. If they don't understand the first thing, which is the father's introduction and his biography, then what would be the benefit in them saying Baba? Even after them making so many donations and performing so much charity, this has become the condition of Bharat. However, no one understands this. They say they will find God after performing devotion, but who will find God and when? Everyone performs devotion, but not everyone will receive a kingdom. There is so much confusion in understanding all of this. You tell everyone, forget those scriptures, etc. Die alive. Brahm is just an element. You cannot receive an inheritance from that. Only from the Father can you receive the inheritance. We claim it every cycle. It is not a new thing. The play is now about to end. We have to shed our bodies and return home. The more you remember the Father, the more your final thoughts will lead you to your destination. This is also called, which time are we living in? What's the time we're living in? There's always 150 answers to all the questions. This is the time of settlement. Is that true? Is that your experience? And this is something we, as Brahmins, we need to be really wise. We've found Baba. We've found what we're looking for. We've found our truth. We know where we belong. But at the same time, the accounts are going to come. It's the time of settlement. Don't be confused whether it's health, conflicts, these sort of things. It's the time of settlement. The karmic accounts of sinful souls are to be settled. You now have to become pure and charitable with the power of yoga. The haystack will be set on fire and the souls will return home. When the one religion is established, those of all the innumerable religions will return home. They will not take their bodies with them. Some say they want eternal liberation. However, that is not possible. Since this is a predestined play and it continues, it has no end. The Father now sits here and tells you the significance of how the cycle continues eternally. All of these things have to be explained. When they begin to understand more, there will be expansion here. This is your very elevated religion. But what happens to this very elevated religion? The birds eat it. Now, when there's fruit on a tree and the birds come to... So Baba's really referring... Some lovely Baba's children come, they take birth, and then Maya eats them. The birds come and eat them. Happens a lot. They don't eat any other religion. You children should not have any interest in this world. This is a graveyard. Why should you have attachment to the old world? In America, those who are sensible feel that someone is inspiring them. Death is just ahead. Destruction has to take place. Everyone's conscience continues to bite. The destiny of the drama is created in this way. Shiv Baba is the bestower. He isn't attracted to anything. He is incorporeal. All of this belongs to you, children. The new world is also for you, children. We are establishing the kingdom of the world, which we will then rule. Baba is so altruistic. When you remember Baba, the lock on your intellect opens. You are double philanthropists. You give your bodies, minds, and wealth to Baba. You also give imperishable jewels of knowledge. What do you give to Shiv Baba? When someone dies, they give all his belongings to the special Brahmin priest. You say that you are offering everything to God, but does God have greed? Does he need everything we have? Is Baba greedy? They say they are offering everything to Krishna. People have made both of them into beggars. However, he is the bestower. Acha. To the sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, Bap Dada. The spiritual father says namaste to the spiritual children, and the spiritual children say namaste to the spiritual father. What will be the essence today? Now is the time of settlement. The elderly, the Kumaris, the men, they can all do service, but they have to be worthy. Yeah, Baba will see. He won't just accept everybody. 1, do not have attachment to anything of the old world. Don't have any interest in anything of this world, because everything is to change into a graveyard. 2, the play is now coming to an end. You have to settle your karmic accounts and return home. Therefore, become free from sin, with the power of yoga and become pure, charitable souls. Become double donors. The blessing. May you make your mind and intellect powerful with the nourishment of happiness and become unshakable and immovable. Wah, Baba, wah. Wah, my fortune, wah. Constantly sing this song of happiness. Happiness is, what's Baba's famous sign? Signal. Happiness is the greatest nourishment. There is no other nourishment like that of happiness. Those who eat the nourishment of happiness every day remain constantly healthy. They never become weak. Therefore, make your mind and intellect strong with the nourishment of happiness, and your stage will become powerful. Those who have such a powerful stage will remain constantly unshakable and immovable. The slogan, set your mind and intellect on the seat of experience and you will never become upset. So Baba's playing on the word seat and upset in a way. Set your mind and intellect on the seat of experience and you will never get upset. Om Shanti. Good morning. So What did you enjoy from today? What arrow struck your intellect that it's going to bubble inside during the day? Nothing. We just listened to the Murli for half an hour. Yes. Everyone does devotion, but not everybody will receive an income from Baba. Sorry. Don't have any interest in this old world. And what I love about Baba is Baba loves everything natural. Because if you naturally love Baba, you'll automatically have no interest. So it's not that you're forcing yourself. Baba says, have no interest, so I'm suppressing. No. In time, that will come out again. But when you naturally love Baba and do service, have zero interest in the things of the world, yes. Yes, happiness is the greatest nourishment. It really is. Ultimately, what is this study to make us happy? How do you feel when you're happy? You feel strong, you feel enthusiastic, you feel, yeah. And as we know medically, they say that when you're happy, your immune system is very strong. And you know, Neville in London, you may know Brother Neville. He was the science editor and the medical editor of the Times. It's probably the world's most famous newspaper. And he wrote a book. And in that book, our beloved mobile phones have taken over our lives, haven't they? In that book, he says, is that you open it, there's this one saying, the greatest factor in good health is happiness. And then he goes on to say, yes, it's good to eat well. Yes, it's good to sleep well. Yes, it's good to exercise. But none of them are really as important as, in a sense, the state of the soul. And there's so many people who really make so much effort with a lot of sincerity to exercise, eat well, sleep well, but they're not happy. So their health is still not great because they're just not happy. Yeah. Anything else from today? Yeah, that was so interesting, wasn't it? Baba gives different directions, seeing the circumstances. So because Baba tells one child, do this, I can't take it for myself. Absolutely. The daddies are the same too. They see the soul. And if the soul is serviceable, really in the last few days too, Baba's been saying, children do service. You know, really, what is service? The way I see it is it's an expression of my love for Baba. It's a real expression. When I love Baba, I will give my time and energy to Baba's task. And Daddy Janki defined service beautifully once. That action that brings me and others closer to Baba. Good definition for service. That action that brings me and others closer to Baba. That is really what service is. Okay. Anyway, I was actually going to stay in ARC last night, but somehow I must have a, pardon? I ended up in Bangsar because I had a flight from JB, and when we got to the airport, it had been cancelled. So they put me on a flight 4 hours later, so I didn't arrive till after 7, so I came directly here. So nice to be here. Nice to see the new version of Bangsar. How long was it closed for? 3 years? 2 years, 2.5 years. Okay, so there is a blessing, I think, for everyone.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti. So nice to see Charlie, you're here. So just wait for hands. So welcome, Charlie. And Charlie is the first senior to be here, after Baba's newborn Bangsar here. Okay, I think just a few announcements for all of you. So this morning is Sadhguru Day. So first thing I think important is we need a group photograph. The reason why is in this 40th anniversary, they need a group photograph of all the centers. So Charlie is here appropriate. So after this, we take a group photograph. Sisters may sit down there, I think, and then some can stand at the back. Is it okay? Okay, and then Charlie will give blessings to all of us this morning, all the way from Australia. He brought some blessings. And then just a few announcements about Charlie's program. One is the retreat. I think all of us know the retreat happening on Sunday. Are you aware? And the retreat, just to take note that don't send the link to anybody, everybody. Sometimes the retreat that you send to new people who haven't even done the course. Yeah, we got feedback. And the retreat is for those Brahmins, all of us, who are at least 6 months in knowledge. 6 months in knowledge regular, at least 6 months. Secondly, those who are going to stay at ARC for retreat is you only stay on the Sunday. That means you go on Sunday, you come back probably on Sunday. The other day they make an announcement on the 14th. Saturday is for outstation people. So we go on Sunday morning and we come back in the evening probably. Okay, Charlie, the 3 programs for Charlie this morning. One is the program in the morning is at 10:30. It's on the topic on jealousy. It's a good topic. So that program will be in the hall. It won't be in seminar room. Okay, it will be in the hall, 10:30. And then you try to bring your contacts as many as possible. And secondly, the second program is 7:30 evening here on the topic fear for the future. Okay, and then tomorrow Charlie will be with us.
Not fear of the future, but a future without fear. Once. Sorry.
No, we put it such a way that they will come to listen. Charlie, we just reverse it.
Once I was in one country and either the topic was success without stress. And the sister said, now Brother Charlie's going to speak on stress without success. I said, okay, I'll speak on that as well.
Okay, and then tomorrow Charlie will be there for Murli. All of you are welcome again tomorrow. And then he leaves for Ipoh morning, and then we'll see him on Sunday in ARC. Okay, so we just have 2 minutes meditation, and then Charlie will give blessings, and then
blessings first or photo first?
Whichever. I think photo first or what? Yeah, photo first, and then you get the blessing, and then you adjourn outside. You get your tuli. Yeah. Okay, with that, that's it then. Om Shanti.
सच बोलना, ये जीवन प्रभु का हो गया, ये जीवन। जब से अर्पण हुई ये सांसें, बेहद का सुख पाया है। जब से अर्पण हुई ये सांसें, बेहद का